Well, I gotta say, man, I love the way you think. You think outside the box. God has given you a really unique way to look at things. And I really enjoyed how you interjected personal stories of your policing career
Right.
into the book. Now, for those who haven't read it, I want you to explain, how did you take what you learned in policing and how did you use that to go about looking at God's crime scene to see
Okay.
who the intruder was?
Yeah, so a lot of what we do at death scenes is we're trying to figure out, is this death scene a crime scene? Not every way that you die is criminal. As a matter of fact, 3 of the 4 ways you die are not criminal: accidental, suicides, and natural deaths. We don't investigate. We only investigate criminal deaths, murders. So when we get in the room, the first thing we got to figure out is this a criminal death? Is it the 4th category? And how you determine that is, if I can explain everything that's in the room by staying in the room, it's not going to be a murder, most likely.
Okay.
So if I get there and there's a dead body and there's a pistol, but the pistol happens to belong to the guy, it's always been in the room to begin with, it started off in the room, there's a suicide note that came on the stationery that started off in the room, and he's the writer of the note. Well, now I can explain everything in the room by staying in the room. It's not going to be a murder.
Okay.
On the other hand, if that pistol's not his, and that DNA on the note is not his, it's not his stationery, it's not in his handwriting, and there's even bloody footprints leading out of the room, well, now clearly the best explanation for the stuff in the room is a source outside the room. So now I've shifted everything to murder because I've got evidence of an intruder. So the inside or outside the room game is very helpful for us when we're trying to figure out, is it a death scene or a crime scene?
Okay.
So I said, couldn't we apply the same template to the universe?
Yeah, bring
8
that
pieces
in.
of evidence in the room of the universe. The only question is, can I explain these 8 pieces by staying inside the room? If I can't explain them by staying inside the room, now I've got something that transcends the universe, that is external to naturalism, right? When I say naturalism, I mean it cannot be explained by purely space, time, matter, and the laws that govern space, time, and matter, physics and chemistry. So now I've got to use something, a source, that's outside the room of the natural universe.
Yeah.
And so you can take the same crime scene tools and processes you use at a physical crime scene. Could we apply that thinking to the physical universe, and what does it tell us?
Okay.
What's the better explanation? And I think for these 8 pieces of evidence, actually the best explanation is something outside the room that is the source for everything inside the room. And when that happens, and that's why when at some point as an investigator of this, I got to the end of the Gospels and I was like, I'm almost there, but I don't trust the resurrection account. I don't trust the miracle accounts. But then when I realized that if there is a being that could account for everything in the universe, all science demonstrates that space, time, and matter and these laws come from nothing. And if that's true, then that is the most amazing miracle that this being could ever perform. It's in Genesis 1, right? It's in the beginning, God creates. Well, if there's a being like that could blink into existence everything we call the natural universe, I bet you that being has the power to walk on water. So it shifted my thinking about all the miracle accounts in the Gospels. These didn't become obstacles I couldn't move past, because I realized if there's a being that could do that, he could probably do this.